Monday night, and they said, I got to put that.
What's going on, guys? It's your boy Man Jones here. We back with another video, and this time we'll be doing our Week 10 reaction for this week. I want to get started here because we didn't do our Week 9 reaction last week. So we're going to get started here. So before I get to the video, feel free to like and subscribe to my channel and comment down your opinion below to see what you think of my reactions. So we're going to get started here. Now, this first topic, I want to talk about the Cowboys trade deadline moves. Because as you seen last week, the Cowboys did trade it for two defensive players. They traded for Quinnen Williams and Logan Wilson. Now, I do like these moves. And the reason why I liked about these moves is because here's the thing. It can help their defense play better because now you got a really good elite run stopper in Quinnen Williams. Maybe that could replace Micah Parsons. We'll see if he can be the next Micah Parsons because, basically, with him and Kenny Clark, Jadeveon Clowney, and also, and Ezraku, I believe that defensive front could be better because I feel like if you could put pressure on the quarterback, it should be able to help out your secondary, which it could, though, because if they could put pressure on the quarterback, it could be able to help out their secondary, play good, like stop the pass, force them in some second, third, and longs. I mean, that should be great, but I don't know that's going to help because I just don't really think that Matt Eberflus is a really good defensive coach because, he's calling different plays, and all of a sudden what he's doing, he's playing some soft zone coverage because when you don't have pass rush, you can't play soft zone coverage. Because I just don't really see how, because I feel like with Quinnen Williams, adding with the Quinnen Williams addition that Dallas made, I feel like their run defense should be better because they're 29th in run defense and 31st in passing defense. Because right now their defense has been terrible lately, and allowing over 300 points a game, like averaging like 394 points a game, which that's terrible. Because they need to be better on defense, though. Because here's the thing. Because week 2, they couldn't put pressure on the quarterback, which they did sack Russell Wilson 3 times, and they still couldn't get to him as much. And they still couldn't stop them from scoring. Then week 3 against the Bears, they only allow over 30 points in that game, and they only allowed no sacks in that game. They allowed 30 points to the Panthers, and that's where Rico Dowdle ran them all over. And all of a sudden, week 8, they allow 4 passing touchdowns to the Broncos, to Bo Nix, and they couldn't get to him. And all of a sudden, they allow like 426 total yards in offense. Against the Cardinals, they sacked Jacoby Brissett 5 times, but their defense allowed 27 points to them. Like, they gotta do better defensively. Like I've been saying, they gotta do better on defense because that's why I was hoping that Dallas, can at least add a defensive player. They can add like a pass rusher to like help that defense after trading Micah Parsons away. But I don't know, and I don't think Dallas won that trade because Kenny Clark, has not been good. He's not been the same. But I would move off that contract, to save up some money. I mean, I wouldn't keep him next year. Their secondary, I mean, whereas a lot of times where Dallas secondary give up big plays. I mean, DaRon Bland, he's been getting absolutely smoked because he got smoked by Marvin Harrison Jr. He's been looking terrible, like for real. And Trayvon Diggs, he's missed a lot of time due to injuries, and he had a small calf in his tear. He had a small tear in his calf last season. He missed a few games of that, and then he missed a few games. Now he's missing a couple games due to a concussion injury. So he hasn't been staying healthy, and he's not been good lately. I would move off that contract, too, to save a lot of money, too. Because I feel like with these moves, probably not for this year, but maybe next year. But I don't really know if Dallas is going to make the playoffs, though, because I feel like this schedule is a lot tougher than it is because the Raiders, that's an easy game. But when I look at these 3 games after that Raiders game, it's tough because they have to play the Eagles, the Chiefs, they got to play the Lions, they got to play the Chargers. Like, this schedule is not looking easy for Dallas. So, because I think Dallas, if they can offense, they don't really need to make some moves. I mean, you added George Pickens that can help, but their offense is totally has not looked the same since week 7 because you got to score like 30 points or more if you want to win football games. But that wasn't the case for the Cardinals and the Broncos game because their offense has significantly 3 turnovers and their offensive line is giving up a lot of pressure. Like they're doing that for some reason though. Like the Cardinals pass rush, like their D line was able to get to Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott, the offense in Dallas got to play better. The offensive line got to play better. Even though when they were dealing with injuries, their offensive line was playing good. With them being healthy, their offensive line is struggling right now. Like, you got to run the football multiple times with Javonte Williams. He has to have 2 rushing touchdowns. Dak has to have 3 passing touchdowns. You're not going to even do that. Like, the offense, they need to be a lot better. Like, with play action, they got to separate. Take the top off the defense. Like, get open down the field. Like, it's not really a talent issue. It's a focus issue. Sometimes Dak Prescott is just too lazy to read the defense, and he just goes out there and let his players, go out there and make a play. Because usually, George Pickens would like to come back to Dallas, but we'll probably see what happens because, usually wide receivers get more money than cornerbacks do. And D tackles normally get more money than edge rushers do. Same with linebackers and running backs. And also, one thing I want to say about the Dallas Cowboys is, we'll see if they can at least go on a run. I mean, they just got to be better defensively. Like, they got to stop the run better. They got to stop the pass better. Because as long as they do these things, their defense should be better. I mean, Matt Eberflus, he needs to coach better. Like, I wouldn't see him in the Cowboys. I wouldn't see him being the Cowboys defense coordinator next year because right now his defense it's been terrible. Like, he hasn't been finding ways to do that. Like, he's calling different plays, he's calling different blitz. Like, he's not doing a good job, blitzing, Because I just don't really see how Dallas, finds a way to. Because we're gonna see what happens. I mean, their offense, defensively, if they can find a way to at least play better against the Raiders and their offense finds a way to show up, they should be able to score. Like, they should be. Like Dallas, I feel like their offense will get back on track against the Raiders, and I think their defense can. But as long as they do it, I feel like, they have a chance. So, yeah, and Logan Wilson's a good move. I'm pretty sure with Overshown coming back, I feel like that can probably help. So, yeah, I like these moves so far the Cowboys made. Well, I believe it's probably going to help them, even not for this year, but maybe next year. Like, you could be talking about a potential playoff team coming up this year, but I don't really know. We'll probably see what happens. The next topic I want to talk about, the Patrons AFC East division champs. We'll see. I mean, the Patrons, they're 8-2 right now. And they're totally on a 7-game win streak, and they haven't lost since week 3. We'll probably see. You got Drake May, who's playing at an MVP level, and the Patriots offense right now, it's ranked 9th in total offense. Now, they can't run the football, but they can pass the football. The defense is totally ranked top 10 in total defense, especially 8th in total defense, and they're averaging 320 points a game. Now they're bottom 20 in pass defense, but they're first in run defense, so they do have the best run defense in football. So that's for one thing. I like how the way the Patriots offense is playing. It's playing really good right now. I mean, their O-line is playing really good. Their defense so far is playing really good as well. I like how the way they're playing really good as a defense. The coaching is good. Like, as you look at this Patriots schedule, it's pretty easy because they even got to play the Jets, which is tomorrow night this week. They got to play the Bengals, which that's the easy game. Against the Giants, that's the easy game. Then you have to play against two tough teams against the Bills and Ravens, and then the Jets and the Jets again, the Dolphins. So Patriots do have an easy schedule. So they're finding ways to win tough games. They found a way to beat the Bucs, and they found a way to beat a good Bills team. So yeah, so basically the Patriots, they look like AFC East division champs to me. Like they could win the division because we're probably gonna see what Buffalo does. Because if they find a way to at least like if they can find a way to lose a game against the Bills, I mean we'll probably see. So yeah, so the Patriots, they could be looking like to get first place in the division since 2019. So yeah, so I might say the Patriots might win it. Now I could be wrong. I mean, we'll see what happens. Now, the next topic I want to talk about the Broncos being AFC West division champs. Now, let's talk about the Broncos so far. Because the Broncos so far have been on a hot streak. Like, they've been on a 7-game win streak, tied up with the Patriots. So, the Broncos are sitting at 8-2, holding on to first place in the AFC West. Because here's the thing. The Broncos pretty much got an almost easier schedule because they have to play a couple playoff teams. They play the Chiefs this week on Sunday. Then they got a bye. Then they play the Washington Commanders. They play against the Washington Commanders, in a few weeks after the bye week. They play against a Raiders team in the division rival. They play against a really good Packers team. They play the Jags. They play the Chiefs again, then the Chargers. So you could argue saying Broncos could have the easiest schedule ever, and they're finding ways to win tough games. I mean, they found a way to beat a good Eagles team and all that. And I feel like Denver can totally give you like a baseline to beat the bad teams. And Bo Nix, hey, he's been solid lately. Like, yeah, but we already know the Broncos offense is not good because they're ranked 19th in total offense. They're ranked 18th in passing offense and 9th in rushing offense. I mean, that's the only issue they don't have on offense is rushing offense. And they can run the football. But defense is totally the best in football because they have like the 4th best defense in football. And they literally can stop the run. They can stop the pass really good. And Vance Joseph is a really good defense coordinator. And he's been getting his defense playing really good. And he's playing aggressive football. But the offense just needs to play a lot better. But it did look good against the Cowboys. I mean, and it did look pretty good against the Giants so far after a comeback. But the offense of the Broncos needs to be a lot better because they run the football. They need to pass the football a lot better. The offensive line is playing good, but it needs to do better at pass protecting. Bo Nix needs to play better because as I look at Bo Nix' stat, he's having a good season so far. Like 18 passing touchdowns and all that. Like, that's pretty good. And their defense so far is ranked first on 3rd down. So, and I really think the Broncos, I don't know if they're going to win the AFC West, but I feel like they have higher chance to do it because they have the easiest schedule ever. And the Chiefs might fall apart and take a step back because, they lost to the Bills. The Chargers so far, they did beat the Steelers, so they'll probably make it in. But we'll probably see what happens. But I'm probably going to say the Broncos for right now, but we don't know about the other teams like the Chiefs and Chargers. We'll see because we know the Raiders aren't going nowhere. Now, I want to talk about the Colts because the Colts right now are contenders. Because they're elite contenders. I want to talk about the Colts being elite contenders. Now, here's why. Now, the Colts so far have almost the best record in football, along with the Broncos and the Patriots, because they're 8-2 and sitting at first place in AFC South. They have an offense that's really good, because now their offense is ranked first, and literally they have the fourth best passing offense, the third best running offense, and they're first in points allowed per game on offense. But the defense so far it's up and down. Like they're 7 in rushing defense. They're 20th in total defense overall, and their passing defense is 25th. So the only issue they don't have on defense is run defense. So as you look at the Colts, like I said, they're elite contenders. Like, they can stop the run, they can stop the pass. Like, they have the best running back in football in Jonathan Taylor. They got some weapons on offense, like Alec Pierce, Michael Pittman, Josh Downs, Tyler Warren. He's a stud. Like, they got some good receivers on offense that can give anybody problems. They have a good offensive line. They have a good defense as well. Like, they can get pressure. They can get after the quarterback. They can force turnovers. And, with Sauce Gardner adding to the mix does help their defense a little bit. Like, it does. Like, you might as well give them credit, because I like how the way, how the way their defense is performing so good, because their defense is playing at a high level. So, yeah. I like how the way their defense is playing. So, so the Colts look like elite contenders, and they have a chance to win the division and make the playoffs, though. But I would not be surprised if they made the Super Bowl, though. So I would not be surprised, because basically, Shane Steichen, this coaching staff is playing aggressive football, and Daniel Jones looks like he's a stud. The Colts could look to pay him, and he looks like the future of the Indianapolis Colts. So, so basically I like the Colts so far. I mean, they're elite contenders. So, yeah. So, let's go to another topic. Now, I want to talk about the Bears to the playoffs. So, the next topic I want to talk about, the Bears to the playoffs. Could the Bears go to the playoffs? Now, as I look at the Bears, they're sitting at 6-3, and they moved up to second place in the division in the NFC North. So as of right now, the Bears right now are playing good football. So as I look at the stats, they're ranked as the third best offense in football. They're 11th in passing offense. They're second in rushing offense. They're seventh. They're ranked 7 in points per drive, and they're 10th on third down. But the Bears' defense is just bad. I mean, they have good offense, but it's just that their defense is just bad. Like, I like how the way the Bears' offense is playing. Like, they're playing really good. They're playing at a high level. Receivers, DeAndre Swift is playing good. Ben Johnson's doing a really good job calling plays. DJ Moore, Rome Odunze, Colston Loveland, and Cole Kmet, they're playing really good. I mean, a lot of weapons on offense who are playing good. Offensive line is playing better. But the defense has been playing a little bit better, but it hasn't been playing great. But they just got to get better in that area. Because one thing about Caleb, he can protect the ball for the most part. He's very solid and accurate. And I think that Caleb can totally give you a baseline to beat the bad teams. Because if you look at the Bears' schedule, it could be a lot easier, because they have to play the Vikings this week. They play against a good Steelers team next week. They played a good Eagles team. They play the Packers twice, a good Niners team, and the Lions, and they got to play the Browns. So you could argue saying that this is a much more difficult schedule. So we don't know about the Bears making the playoffs, though. We'll probably see. So, so we don't really know, but I can see it happening. But because they still have a chance to make the playoffs and they still have their playoff hopes alive. So we'll probably see what happens. Now, the next topic I want to talk about the Giants fire Brian Daboll. I want to talk about the Giants firing Brian Daboll. Now, here's the thing. I want to talk about this because here's the thing. The Giants did fire Brian Daboll, and here's why. Now, the Giants so far have not been a good team. But as you look at the Giants, I mean, Jackson Dart looks like he's a really good quarterback, and Ken Scatterby was a good running back, but all of a sudden he's out for the year. The Giants on offense so far have been very good, but they hasn't been great. So as I look at the Giants so far, they're ranked 14th in total offense, and they can run the football really good. But their defense is really bad, especially their defense. You know, they're 31st in run defense, and they're 23rd in pass defense. So their run defense is not great. But at the same time, the Giants so far on offense have been looking pretty good. But at the same time, you know, the Giants, you know, firing their head coach was kind of bad news. And I want to tell you why, the reason why they did fire Brian Daboll. Because Brian Daboll has been a really good coach for a long time, but been a good coach for a few years with the Giants. But the reason why they fired Brian Daboll is here's the thing. They have getting a lot of blown leads. Like, as you look at the games that the Giants should have won, they could have beaten the Cowboys. And they could have beaten, you know, the Broncos. And they could have beaten the Bears, though. Like, those are the only 3 games the Giants should have won, because it's just that they're just like having a blown league. Like, they'll just get competitive in a few of their games, but they're just not being competitive of being the winner in one of their games. Because right now, the Giants so far, because, you know, because the Giants so far, because the Giants, you know, they were not been a good team for a few years. Because the only part where the Giants, when they hired Brian Daboll, because when they hired Brian Daboll, you know, he took this Giants team to the playoffs, and the Giants won a playoff game that year in 2022. But so far, he's only had 1 winning season and 3 losing seasons for this team. Like, the Giants, the only last time the Giants were a good team was since 2022. That's the last time the Giants were a good team. When they had good offense and they had good defense. And then when they had Daniel Jones. But now, when Russell Wilson was a starting quarterback, Russell Wilson was not looking good. Now, the only good game Russell Wilson had was against the Dallas Cowboys. But the two games that Russell Wilson didn't have was against the Commanders and, you know, was against Commanders and the Chiefs. Those are only good games he hasn't had. And all of a sudden, when they put Jackson Dart in, Jackson started playing good. I mean, he looked pretty good against the Chargers. He looked good against the Eagles. And he looked good against the Broncos, and they lost that game. But he didn't look good against the Eagles or the second time. Then he looked good against the Niners, and he looked pretty good against the Bears till he went down for a concussion. So, yeah. So, basically, the reason why the Giants did fire Brian Daboll is because, you know, the Giants, you know, they're giving up, they're blowing a league when they're starting to fall apart when they're up by double digits. So yeah. So I think the Giants so far, they should be able to at least so that's pretty much why they fired Brian Daboll. So yeah. Now I want to talk about the Dolphins upsetting the Bills, because the Dolphins upset at Buffalo. Now I want to talk about the positives and negatives about this Dolphins team, because the Dolphins so far, you know, they found a way to at least Like, I like how the way the Dolphins looked at on offense. Like, they ran the ball really well. I mean, Devon Achane had a breakout game. The offensive line did a really good job protecting. The defense was playing really good as well. They kept the Bills' offense on their toes. They kept the Bills' defense on their toes. Like, they made the Bills' offense look one-dimensional. Because we'll talk about the Bills in a second. I mean, Dolphins did have a good game. It was a good bounce back, after losing. And the Dolphins so far, they're not a good team, but because the Dolphins are not a good team. So basically, the Dolphins are not a good team, but they found a way to beat the Bills. And the Bills, to me, are frauds to me because they lost to a bad Dolphins team and get crushed by the Dolphins. Like, how do you get crushed by the Dolphins? Like, they just made it. I mean, the Bills' defense just made Devon Achane look like Derrick Henry out there. I mean, Dolphins had almost 200 yards rushing. Like I've been saying, the Bills' run defense has been bad all season. Like, they couldn't stop the run. Because let's look at the Bills' stats so far. Because as you look at the Bills, they're 30th in run defense. And the only issue they don't have on defense is pass defense. But their offense is really good, but they hasn't been playing really well. I mean, it didn't look good against the Dolphins. Like, how do you lose to the Dolphins? Like, I don't understand. Now, I want to look at the Dolphin stats. Because the Dolphins' offense is really not good this year. Like, how do you let them score 30 points? Because the defense is really not good, but the only issue, the only improved defense that they did, the only improvement that they have on defense is pass defense, and they're not good in run defense. So as far as I'm concerned, Bills are frauds, especially after getting smoked by Miami, which I didn't really expect that to happen. That's unbelievable. I mean, give credit to the Dolphins. Like, they play really good. So, yeah. Now, I want to talk about this Steelers team. Now, I want to talk about Seahawks and Rams being the best. So, NFC. Well, I want to talk about the NFC West race. Now, I want to talk about the NFC West race because here's the thing. You got the NFC West being a really strong division. Now, as I look at it, the Seahawks and Rams both won their games on Sunday. So you can argue saying the Rams and Seahawks are the best teams ever. Now, as you look at, the NFC West is pretty strong because you got the Seahawks and Rams sitting at 7-2, and you got the Niners sitting at 6-4. And the Cardinals are like the worst team in the division. So, yeah, so you could say the NFC West is pretty good. So it's probably going to be a race. So it's hard to say it's going to be in first place between the Niners, Rams, and Seahawks, but I don't know who has the odds to do it. We'll see. But I feel like it's going to be the Rams. Maybe the Seahawks. We'll see. Because, the Rams and Seahawks both won their games, and they both play on Sunday. We're going to see who's going to win that game. We don't know. Because, like I said, it's going to be a good game to watch. and I'm looking forward to it. So, yeah, so we're gonna see who's gonna get first place in the NFC West between the Niners, Rams, and Seahawks. I mean, if the Niners win, I wouldn't be shocked. If Seattle win, I wouldn't be shocked, or either Rams win, I wouldn't be shocked. So this is like a good division. Like, it's a very strong division compared to the NFC North, which I could totally see all three of these teams, like the NFC West teams, like the Niners, Seahawks, and Rams, make the playoffs, which I can see it happening, though, but we don't really know if it will be. But we'll see what happens, though. Oh, boy. I want to talk about the Steelers so far because the Steelers so far have lost to the Chargers. Now, here's why. Now, the Steelers so far are 5-4, and they're looking like frauds out there. Like they are. Here's why. I really wasn't impressed by the Steelers so far. Like, here's the thing. The Steelers are not convincing. The reason why they're not convincing, here's why. The Steelers' offense was terrible out there. Like, it was, like, basically, Aaron Rodgers did not have a good performance. Like one passing touchdown, 161 yards, and 2 picks. Like, that's terrible. And, they couldn't run the football. Like, they couldn't do much offensively. And on top of that, Steelers defense did give up 5 sacks. Like, but at the same time, they allowed over 20 points to the Chargers. Like, this team is a fraud. Like, it is. Like, the Chargers, because, the Chargers looked pretty good offensively. I mean, Ladd McConkey had 107 receiving yards and 1 passing touchdown to 4 catches and averaging 26.8 a game. And the Chargers ran the ball better than them. And they only had 314 total yards in offense. The defense played outstanding for the Chargers. Like, trust me, they allowed it over. Like, they found a way to get the Steelers' offense in trouble. Like, the Steelers can really do much offensively. Like this is why this team's a fraud. Like, they can't play offense. They struggle to score in the red zone. And the defense cannot just get a stop when they need to get a stop. And especially, Herbert looks better than Aaron Rodgers, and that's facts. Herbert did outplay Aaron Rodgers. Like, in that game, he did outplay Aaron Rodgers. Like, he did. Because Herbert was throwing lasers out there, and all of a sudden, the Chargers found a way to run the ball with their third-string running back. Like, the Steelers' defense, they got to do better. They can't just give up big plays. They can't get explosive runs. And we know the Steelers' defense is totally bad this year. They got to do better. Now, against the Colts, last week, they did a lot better against the Colts. But this game against the Chargers, they didn't do well because the offense started slow because it was just a bunch of 3-and-outs and drop passes and sloppy plays. Like, that's just terrible. Because whenever you do that, whenever they do that, they're not going to win football games. And the Chargers defense, like I said, looks better. And they look like the best team right now. You might as well give credit to them. And the Steelers, I mean, they're done. Like they're still leading first place in the division, but I don't know they're going to go anywhere. Because right now they're the best team in the division. I mean, you got the Ravens who won. You got the Bengals who won the bye. You got the Browns who lose. Like, yeah, I mean, this team's a fraud. Like, I don't get, like, this Steelers team's a fraud. Like, after losing 4 games, like, it's crazy. So, that's just unbelievable for the Steelers team. So, yeah, the Steelers are just a fraud. Now, this last topic, I want to talk about the Packers because this Packers team, they just lost 2 straight games against the Panthers and Eagles. And this is not looking good for Packers. Because now the Packers, they're on a 2-game losing streak. And how the way they've been losing, I mean, it's just bad. I mean, How do you lose to the Eagles? Like, that's crazy. Like, here's the thing. The Packers did not look pretty good offensively because for 2 weeks, his offense has not been looking good. Like, you came out with 7 points all game long. Like, how do you come out with 7 points? Because here's the thing. The Packers offense was struggling to score in the red zone like for 2 weeks. They did not look good against the Panthers and they did not look good against the Eagles. Because they could have at least won that game. Their kicker didn't miss a field goal. They were just being conservative for no reason. Just too many threes and outs, too many drop passes, sloppy plays. Like, guys weren't getting open and separating. Like, how do you lose to a bad Panthers team and a good Eagles team? Like, especially with just seeing the Packers losing 2 games back to back is just crazy. Because his offense so far has been pretty good for over the last couple of weeks. But this game, it did not. But the defense did a really good job keeping themselves in the game. The defense did play a lot better, but it's just that their offense is the reason why they're choking. Like, the defense did not allow any pressure to Jalen Hurts last night. Eagles had more sacks. And Jalen Fields did a really good job getting to Jordan Love. Like he did. And so far, the Packers their defense, I mean, it's not been bad and all of a sudden, but it's been great. I mean, Micah Parsons in there helping, but he has been getting to the quarterback on consistent basis. And he looks lost. Now, the passing defense did look pretty good because both teams weren't able to throw the football, but both teams, they were running the football okay. But at the same time, the Packers just had too many turnovers, like 2 lost fumbles, which that's crazy. And the Packers had more first downs, and all of a sudden they get outgained. And so far, the Eagles had more penalties, and all of a sudden they still won the game. But you know what? Both teams did a really good job with the clock management so far. I mean, they did a good job with the clock management so far so they can have a chance to go into overtime. But that did not happen because their kicker missed a field goal. And all of a sudden, the Packers have been struggling to convert on third down, where it could allow some 3 and outs. So far as I'm concerned, this Packers team is a fraud after losing 2 straight games in a row. And now this team is totally moved down to the 7th seed, and now they could be outside looking in. Who knows? Because we'll probably see what the Packers do, because I see what the Packers can do, because I still believe they have a chance to make the playoffs, though, because I looked at the schedule, it could be easy, because they have to play against the Giants, they play against the Vikings, they play against a good Lions team, they play against a good Bears team twice, they play against a good Broncos team and a good Ravens team, who can totally make the playoffs with Lamar being healthy, and the Vikings again. So that could say that's probably not a tough schedule, but it could be. So, yeah, so far as I'm concerned, the Packers are frauds. We're going to see what happens. So, yeah. We'll see what happens Sunday. We'll see what happens in the next couple of weeks. So, yeah. Well, those are all my Week 10 reactions for this week. Thank you guys for watching. And don't forget, if you disagree with me, just let me know in the comments section below what you guys think. This is again, Mail Jones, I'm a big fan. Thank you guys for watching. See you guys later. Peace.